Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to create a design called a mandala. It's also pronounced mandala. I've heard it different ways. So in this mini lesson I'm going to show you some basics. It can be a very basic design, or you could get more complicated as you get a little bit more experienced. This first one that I did was just learning how, working it out, and I had a lot of fun with it. I just used a Sharpie and some different colored writing pens that I had. You can use anything that you have, any kind of color paper. You could do it in an ombre design, color scheme, a rainbow, a few select colors, or just black, or in pencil. So there's different ways to approach this and different ideas that you can come up with. I was inspired by my coloring book that I had, that I showed you last time, that has all kinds of just really beautiful, complex designs like these. This is the one that I had colored in. So I just got inspired to learn more about how to make them. So I'm going to do that with you today. First, a mandala is a circle. That's what it means. You'll find it in Buddhism. It is meant to represent the universe. It is never-ending. It's meant to show that everything is connected. It can assist in healing and reduce stress. And it's just fun to do also. So these are some basic shapes and designs to kind of understand before you start. I thought that was helpful. Dots, spirals, drops, petals or leaves, arches, lines, and some geometric shapes. You could just start right off and grab a pen and start in the middle and work your way out. I often do this maybe sitting in meetings that get a little boring, sorry, just to kind of bring my mind back to something peaceful. But I'm going to show you how to start it with pencil and a ruler. I don't have a compass. I would imagine that you probably don't. I don't know. But I'm going to go without. So just starting off with circular shapes. First, here I started small with a penny. And then I'm going to use this cup from cough syrup and trace around it. I could even be doing this part in pencil if I wanted to, but I'm probably going to use them as lines anyway. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfection, just coming up with a design. I went to try to do this like a cup, except you can't see through it, and it's hard to line it up exactly to make it as close as possible. So look for something clear. And I'm still going to kind of be guessing and making it approximate, so fingers crossed. This is how I did that first one, and it worked out pretty well. Not perfect, but that's okay. Here is where I'm going to change to a pencil because I don't want these lines to show in the end. I'll erase them later. And using a ruler. If you don't happen to have a ruler, here's a piece of mail, an envelope, or anything with a straight edge works just fine. So kind of eyeballing the center, I'm going to make kind of like a plus symbol down the middle and across the middle. It's almost kind of looking like a target. And then I'm going to add an X. So I'm kind of eyeballing where I think the middle of the X is. If I had a compass, this would be like so mathematically perfect, but I don't. I dug through several drawers around the house and couldn't find one. So this will have to do. And then where you go from here really opens up. I could have done more circles. I just kind of ran out of space, and I don't want this to be too long. So let's see what I have here. Let me use this. So I could start off in the middle with referring back to my shapes here. Maybe I'm going to start with circles. So if let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could break this down into circles. Now it's important, I learned the hard way, that you do have to turn the paper as you go. If you don't, you really can run into problems. I thought, oh, I don't have to turn it, I can just do it as I go, and no, I had to turn it. Again, we're not achieving perfection. It's just meant to be meditative, repetitive. I'm not planning ahead. I didn't think about what this is going to look like. It's how it unfolds, which kind of is the neat part of it. I'm going to use these lines here to do kind of like a diamond shape. Okay. And maybe I'll just do arches over the circles. I'm not out of the scene here. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. I found that the more you fill it up, oh, that probably is too small. Oh well. It does look better. If you have empty spaces, you could fill them in solid, which looks good. Like, see all these little spaces in between? Filling it up with a shape or design or lines, or filling it in solid looks good too. From here, I'm gonna make some petals. So I'm gonna go from this line to this line. Almost like a bracket. And then I can overlap going from pencil line to pencil line. Oh, that's a little wonky. That's okay. Oh, that's a good start. I also decided that when you vary the thickness of it, so right now it's all just single pen lines, but when you go in and add some thicker lines, it adds a little bit more interest and variety. So I think, let's see, I'm going to take the shapes that were created on the inside and go over those a little darker. That's kind of cool. Maybe put a circle in the middle. There you go. I think I'm going to use this to go around and make kind of an inner, somewhat circular shape. Okay. And maybe I'll emphasize the lines. The lines are your guidelines, but they can also become part of the design. In here, I'm going to erase those later, but for right now, I'm going to do this. Just to mix it up, I'm going to switch to color, assuming this works. Yes, it does. And maybe here, kind of like a slightly, oh, that is off. It's all right. A slightly pointed arch. So like a wide V. So you can see how adding a little bit of color suddenly gives it a little bit of life. And you can see now more how my lines aren't quite exact, but if you stress over it, you're missing the point. Maybe I'll go back and put dots with blue. You can always go back. Just because you moved beyond a space doesn't mean you can't go back into it. Let's see. I think this calls for some little arches too. So I'm going to try then to be consistent and put 3. 1, 2, 3. Got a little bit of quiet time Zen music in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. I didn't want it to make it too loud. Oh, I want to do a spiral. So where should I do a spiral? Maybe the 4 main. Yeah. North, south, east, and west. There we go. So I could keep going on from here and keep adding to it, keep designing more, build it out as far as I want. This whole part looks a little empty, so I would go back and fill that in. But I think just do it as you go. Don't think so hard. Do it with crayons, do it with markers, do it with a pen. That looks nice. Here I am praising myself. And that's okay. I'm proud of what I did. I'm making it up as I go. Be sure to send me a picture. We'll count that as an assignment. So there we go. And then later, when I'm sure this is all dry, I'll go back and erase pencil lines. So have some fun. Give it a try. Enjoy.